Sorry about that. Anyway, I sort of like deleted my video last time, or at least the recording for this, episode. So I had to do it all over again. God fucking damn it. So I'm gonna be making this late, so I'm really sorry that all of you guys were waiting. But either way, so yeah. So, hello guys, I am back from another video. Today we're talking about what if Deku was in high school's DxD. And so, in the last video, we talked about how. Actually, I'm not even going to say what happened last time. So, yeah, just watch the previous episode, and yeah. So, anyway, let us talk about what happens next, ladies and gents. As we currently see Izuku basically now in his sort of like basement area. As we currently see him basically getting his organs. As you would see this. Thank God I have super regeneration, he would say. As, Dracul would say this. Yes, pretty fortunate, he would say. As he would start looking towards, more specifically, Izuku would start looking at the two girls, as he would say this. Alright then, let's start the operation, he would say. As he would start, grabbing some gloves and also some surgical equipment. The reason how he got them, don't ask. Let's just say he's sort of like, remember how I said that in the first episode, he was a bit of an experimentalist, or at least, an expert, like, some things, like, for example, like, body, manipulation, I guess you could say, or, any type of, like, surgery, because remember, he was sort of, like, turned into a half-ghoul, and he had to learn that, so, yeah, imagine something of that sort. So, after, grabbing the surgical tools, he would start doing the operation. After replacing, Moriyama's, like, broken, not really broken, but more like impaled liver, he would start replacing it with, a new one, aka his. As he would start looking at, Moriyama, as, not Moriyama, I think it was Katase. Yeah, Katase. As Katase would basically get a replacement for her, for her left lung. As after doing so, and after sewing them up, he would say this. Alright, just hope you're safe. Or at least okay, at least, he would say. As after saying so, he would, start leaving the area, as he would wait for them to basically heal for now. As after doing so, he would start leaving to go to his bedroom. After going back to his bedroom, he would notice, all of his, two of his, parents, and also Mullet, and also, not Cowarner. I meant, Rainer basically gone, as Izuku would say this. Hey, Cowarner, where's Rainer, my parents, and also Millet, he would say, as she would say this. Oh, they're currently, going to, wait for a second. Cowarner would say this. Oh yeah, they're currently going to, apparently you're gonna be getting some groceries, she would say, as he would say this. Oh, I see, he would say. As after saying so, he would start leaving to go to his, bedroom, as he would get ready to fall asleep. So, after waking up in the morning, he would say, finally, it's gonna be the weekend, so at least I won't have to deal with anybody, he would say. As he would start leaving to go downstairs, as he would see his parents still sleeping, and also, Cowarner and the, two others are currently, making breakfast, as he would say this. Oh, hey guys, he would say, sorry about that, anyway, continuing on, as one of them would say this. Oh, hey Zuku, said, Millet, as he would say this. I'm just gonna be going to my, little, like, like, workshop, he would say, as one of them would say this. Oh yeah, and about Katase and Moriyama. They're currently awake, she would say. Specifically, Rainer, as he would say this. Wait, how did you... As she would say this. Well, we sort of sensed them. And let's just say they're currently, not really in the good mood right now. As one of them would say this. Yeah, they're currently, well, a bit, stupefied knowing that they basically almost got killed, she would say. As he would say this. I see, he would say. As after saying that, she would say this. Don't worry, they're fine at least. As after saying that, they would start, or at least Izuku would start leaving to go to to the actual, like, downstairs, or at least, whatever you want to call it. Wait for a second. Sorry about that. Anyway, continuing on with the episode. And if you're wondering what I'm hearing in the background, you can probably guess what it is. Yeah. But either way, continuing on with the episode, as we currently see Izuku going downstairs to go to his, little workshop. As after opening the door of this little surgery area, he would see both Katase and Murayama there. As he would see this. Hey, Katase, Murayama, are you okay? As Katase would see this. Yeah, we're fine, we're just... As both of them would basically, show their eyes to, Izuku, as you would notice them basically having, the similar, a similar, eye to, well, to him when he's in his ghoul form, but except they only have it in one eye, as one of them would say this. You know what happened to us? Said, a really, scared Moriyama, as he would say this. Don't freak out, but you turned into half-ghouls, he would say, as one of them would say this. Wait, what do you mean that we turned into half-ghouls or whatever, she would say, as he would say this. Well, you see, as after a little, explanation, as she would say this. I see. So you basically turned us into half-ghouls to basically, well, keep us alive, she would say. As she would say this. Yeah, that was the only way for you to basically live. As after saying so, she would say this. Specifically, Murayama, as she would say this. Well, I guess, thank you, I guess, she would say. As Izuku would say this. Well then, here's, I'm just gonna be getting breakfast for you guys. As one of them would say this. Thanks, Izuku, said, Murayama. As after saying that, Izuku would start leaving, as he would say this. I just hope they're able to just eat normal food. I don't want them to suffer the same horrible things that I had to do back in my world. As after saying that, he would start to remembering, as he would start to remember his past, back in his old world. Flashback time, ladies and gents. So, as we currently see, Izuku basically walking upstairs, as he would start grabbing some food for both of them, as he would say this. Thanks, he would say, as one of them would say this. Yeah, I know, said, a pretty much, not so, happy, cow owner, as she currently has a jealous aura around her. As, Rainer would say this. Yeesh, you really are jealous, said, Rainer, as after saying that, she would say this. Oh, how can you freaking tell, she would say, as she would say this. Yeah, she would say. As after saying that, we currently see Izuku leaving. As we currently see him basically arriving back at the workshop, as he would give the food to both Katase and Moriyama. As Moriyama would say this. Wait for a second. So, after giving the food to, to both Moriyama and also Katase, they would start eating. After eating, they would say, huh, that's actually pretty good, said, Katase, as she would say this. Yeah, as she would start looking at Izuku, as she would say this. Izuku, why do you almost look worried a little bit a while ago, she would say, as he would say this. Oh, nothing, he would say. As after saying that, Izuku would start thinking to himself, oh, thank God, at least they're able to just eat normal food at least. As after saying that, we currently, see Izuku basically leaving the area. Sorry about that, wait for a second. So, after basically leaving the area, he would say this. At least they're able to eat normal food, at least. I thought they would probably turn into those ghouls, he would say. I don't want them to suffer just like me. Back when it was in that world, he would say. As after saying that to himself, he would start, getting outside as, not really outside, but more like, going back into, to the upper floor, as he would say this. Morning, guys, he would say, as, he would see both of his parents, as, his father would say this. Ah, hello, son, he would say, as Izuku would say this. Oh, hey, Dad, he would say, as he would say this. So, I was wondering about, something, he would say, as he would say this. Yeah, he would say, as he would say this. Well, it's about your childhood friend, Issei, yeah, he would say, as he would say this. Yeah, what about Issei, he would say, as his mother would say this. Well, you see, your parents and I have been planning to maybe, well, make you both marry each other, maybe, she would say. As Izuku would have wide eyes, and would say, as he would say this. Wait, excuse me, what? He would say, as she would say this. Oh, don't worry, besides, we're not going to officially do that. If you don't want it, at least, she would say, as he would say this. Oh, thank God, he would say, as one of them would say this, specifically his father. You sounded excited. Are you perhaps, liking somebody by, liking somebody by any chance, he would say, as he would say this. Well, not exactly, he would say, as he would say this. Then why did you, as he would say this? Well, for obvious reasons, because I'm not really ready, not really ready for that type of thing, he would say, as he would say this. Ah, I see, he would say. Wait for a second. Sorry about that. Anyway, continue on with the episode. As we currently see Izuku basically in the, on the, dining room table, as he would start eating breakfast with the rest of, with the rest of his family. As after finishing eating, he would start, leaving to go downstairs, or at least, to the basement. As after seeing two of the girls basically, somewhat comfortable, as he would say this. Hey, I think it's time for you to, leave, he would say, as Katase would say this. But why, she would say, as he would say this. Well, I don't want my parents to basically find out that that I have girls in my basement. I mean, what would they think, he would say, as one of them would say this. Well, maybe we could say that we're, just hanging out, she would say, as after saying that, he would say this. Yeah, definitely, he would say, as one of them would say this. I guess it's better than nothing, he would say. She would say. As after saying so, he would say this. Very well then, he would say. As after saying that, he would start bringing both the girls to basically go outside. More specifically with the teleportation circle, because there's no way that he's going to be bring them out there. So, after doing so, he would say goodbye to both Murayama and Katase. As after leaving, he would say, say this to himself. Well, this is certainly different, he would say. As after saying that, he would start, teleporting himself downstairs, or at least, towards, to like the little basement part, as he would start leaving to go back inside of his house. As after doing so, he would, do some normal stuff, mostly doing his homework and, some other stuff as well. But after a while of basically doing so, he would get a call from his friend. More specifically, Saji, as he would say this. What is it, Saji? He would say, as Saji would say this. The president wants to talk to you, he would say, as he would say this. Again? As he would say this. Yeah, it's very important, he would say, as he would say this. I'll be right there, he would say. As after saying that, he would start using some, using some magic circles, as he would start teleporting away. After arriving, at the, student council office, he would teleport right into the room, as he would say this. So what is it, he would say, as one of them would say this, specifically Riaz, as he would say, she would say this. You finally arrived, she would say, as he would say this. Yeah, but either way, why is it exactly, he would say, as one of them would say this. Well, you see, said, a pretty, somewhat nervous, well, wait for a second. So, after, after looking at, Riaz, as Riaz would say this, well, you see, the reason why we're going to be having this little Parents' Day is because of something important, she would say, as Izuku would say this. Really, what is it exactly, he would say, as, a person would basically arrive, as it would be from a teleportation circle. As this teleportation circle would have the seal of a Gremory. Or at least, have the Gremory crest. As after, the circle dies down, it would be revealed to be Surge's Lucifer. As he would say this. Mr. Lucifer, he would say. As he would basically bow down while the rest also bow down. As, Riaz would say this. Brother, nice to see you again, she would say. As after saying that, he would say this. You don't really need to bow down right now. Besides, it's not really, not really sort of important, but more like, Well, yeah, let's just say that, he would say. As after saying that, he would say this. Oh, very well then, Lord Lucifer, he would say. As he would say this. Hmm. By the way, the reason why all of you are here is because of the little meeting. Or at least, the... Wait for a second, god dang it. God fucking damn it. These, the parent day thing, well, the reason why we're basically having that, next week is because we're gonna be having a little, let's just say thing happening. More specifically, we're gonna be having something known as the meeting between the, all of the biblical factions. I meant all of the biblical factions, I meant. As after saying that, everybody would just be surprised as Ezekiel would say this. Wait, what? He would say? As after saying that, he would say this. Yes, we're going to be having a little peace talk. We're going to be having a little peace talk with the two other biblical factions. More specifically, Azazel's fallen angels and Michael in heaven, he would say. As everybody would just be surprised as he would say this. Really? Then, if that's true, then as he would say this, yes. We're no longer going to be having a ceasefire, but now we're planning for peace, he would say. As Ezek would say this. I see, he would say. Well, this is quite the interesting turn of events, he would say. As he would say this. Yes, quite, Ezekiel, he would say. But for now, I want all of you guys to be informed of this, because we're going to be having this meeting. And for you, Ezekiel, you're also going to be a part of it. After all, their powers are quite, let's just say legendary to say the least. Especially ever since I told them about you, he would say. As he would say this. Wait, excuse me, what? He would say? As he would say this. Yes. That is why I decided to, let you become a part of this meeting exactly, he would say. Or at least exactly why I decided for you to basically join this meeting. As after saying that, he would say this. Ah, I see, he would say. As he would say this. Okay then, that's for all. That's for now, he would say. As after saying that, he would start looking at the others. As he would say this to, to Issei, as he would say this. By the way, Issei, Hyodo, he would say, as she would say this. Yeah, Mr. Lucifer, he would say, she would say, as he would say this. Well, wait for a second. Sorry about that. Anyway, continuing on with the episode. As after, saying that, he would say this. Well, apparently they're gonna be giving you presents. You, Miss Dragon Empress, he would say. As after saying that, she would say this. Wait, really? She would say, as she would say this. Yes. Apparently they're peace offering. And also for you, Izuku Midoriya, he would say. As he would start looking at, Izuku, as he would say this. Yeah, as he would start looking towards, well, to, to search this, as he would say this. Well, you see, apparently one of the, apparently one of the factions that are apparently at least trying to, at least good, or at least get good relations with us, is apparently the faction known as the Norse, Pantheon, he would say. As he would say this. Wait, the Norse Pantheon? As in, Odin and stuff, he would say? As he would say this. Yes, exactly who I'm asking, he would say. And apparently, they want you to at least have good relations with them. And so are going to be planning to basically give you some gifts as well. After all, they did give you the name. Apparently, they served, almost all of the factions after hearing about you from, well, us, apparently gave you the name the third, Dragon Emperor. Or Dragon Empress. Actually, scratch that. Dragon Emperor. As after saying that, he would say this. Ah, I see, he would say. As after saying that, he would say this. Yes, very much. Now, I want you to at least prepare for that. After all, it is next week, he would say. As Sona would say this. So, where is going to be, where we're going to be holding the meeting place exactly? As he would say this. Well, we're going to be having the meeting place soon. And this meeting place is gonna be over there, he would say, as he would start, pointing at the student council office itself, as he would say this. I see. I mean, it does make sense, he would say, as after saying that, he would say this. Yes, that's exactly right. And so, after saying that, he would say goodbye to all of them, and after saying so, he would basically disappear. As Sona would say this. Alright guys, it's okay for you all to basically leave. As after saying so, Irina would start leaving as she would start leaving to go to Issei's house, including some of the others like Zenobia. And as for Izuku, he would also start to leave. As before he can actually leave, he would hear, "Hey, Izuku," she would say, as he would say this. "Oh, hey, hey, Sona," he would say, as she would say this. "Well, hey, Izuku," she would say, as she would start twirling her fingers, as he would say this. Yeah," he would say, as she would say this. I can we go on a date later, or, yeah, maybe tomorrow," she would say, as he would say this. "Wait, oh, um, I guess? I guess why not," he would say, as she would say this. Great," she would say, as after saying that, he would say goodbye to her. And so he would teleport away and would basically arrive back home. After arriving back home, he would start, wait for a second. So, after arriving back home, we would currently see Izuku basically having some mean time. As we currently see him, doing some of his homework, as after doing so, he would instantly fall asleep, basically on his bed. So, after waking up, he would decide to, get prepared for the little date that he's going to be having with Sona, as he's currently wearing his usual casual wear. As after, a bit of preparing, his parents would notice him basically changing into, some pretty nice clothes, as his father would say this. "Oh, why are you doing that, Izuku?" he would say, as he would say this. "Oh, hey dad," he would say, as his mother would say this. "Oh, are you perhaps going out with somebody by any chance?" she would say, as he would say this. "Well, yeah, I'm just going out with a friend," he would say, as he would say this, specifically his dad. "Oh, really? Then who might your friend be?" he would say, as he would say this. "Well, as the doorbell would basically ring, as he would say this. Oh, she's here," he would say, as after hearing that, both of his parents would have a, somewhat evil gleam in their eyes, as he would say this. "Her, you say," both of them would say in their, minds. As after doing so, we currently see, Izuku, opening the door, as both of them would see Sona. As Sona's basically wearing some pretty nice casual wear. She's basically wearing a simple, dress, and also, a little necklace that she gotten from Izuku. Yeah, I sort of, planned on maybe making a little scene where they're going to go to, a little, shop where they're going to be getting a necklace, or at least Izuku getting a necklace for her, but, I didn't have time to basically make that idea, and I decided to scrap it, so, just imagine that she got the present from Izuku when they first, they sort of, gone together. And so, we currently see her just, twirling her hair a little bit, as it seems to be in a little bit more of a, a cuter style. As she would say this. "Oh, hey Izuku," she would say, as Izuku would say this. "Well, I better, be going now. Bye guys," he would say, as both of his parents would start having a little bit of an evil gleam, as his father would say this. "Sure, try not to do anything, a little bit scandalous," he would say, as both of them would start becoming a little bit, blushing a little bit, as Izuku would say this. "Dad," he would say, as his mother would say this. "Make sure to try and wear, a rubber," she would say, as both of them would start blushing even more, as, he would start leaving the area immediately, as his parents would start laughing a little bit, knowing that their son is probably gonna have, a lot of fun with her. And some of them are thinking, yeah, we're gonna be having some grandkids soon. I mean, they're not wrong. Foreshadowing intensifies. Oh, god dang it. Wait for a second, guys. Sorry about that. Anyway, continuing on with the episode. As we currently see, Izuku basically leaving with Sona. As Sona would say this. So, those are your parents, she would say. As he would say this. Yeah. Oh, God. Let's just say they're a bit embarrassing. And I'm also not really excited for them to basically come to come to school, he would say. As, Sona would say this. Yeah, I can definitely believe that. She would also sigh. As she would say this. I'm really sorry about my parents and their, well, let's just say actions, he would say. As she would say this. Oh, no, no, no. It's not really your fault or, their fault. I mean, well, I guess you can say that they're, you know, parents. They usually absolutely embarrassing their, children, she would say. As he would say this. Yeah, I can definitely believe that, he would say. As after saying that, she would say this. So, what should we do first? As Izuku would say this. How about we go there, he would say. As after saying that, they would arrive at a little cafe. As they would start walking in, as Izuku would order some coffee and also, and for Sona, she would decide to go for a cappuccino. So, after grabbing their, drinks and also buying some pastries, they would start eating and talking. As while they were talking, they would have a sort of nice atmosphere to them. Almost like they're actually a couple. Or maybe even a married couple basically now, in the early stages of their life. As after a while basically talking, they would start leaving the shop. As after doing so, they would start leaving to go to, to the mall where they're basically, doing some stuff. Mostly, doing some games, eating at the food court, and also, well, while Izuku is basically with Sona, she would start staring at the little, ring there. As Izuku would say this. Hey, Sona, what are you looking at? As she would say this. Well, I was just looking at this ring, she would say. As she would say this. Are you perhaps... Do you want it, he would say? As she would say this. Yeah, but it's... Well... As Izuku would look at it, as he would see how, how the price is basically, super high. As he would say this. Oh, I can definitely pay for that, he would say. As she would say this. Wait, you don't really need to do that. I mean, you basically gave this necklace, so I won't, as he would say this. Please, I insist. Besides, you're basically well, we are going to be married, so, as she would say this. Um, yeah, I guess so, she would say. As Izuku would start, going into the shop, as after arriving there, or at least going inside of it, he would start ordering the special ring. As the ring would be revealed to be, a ring with with a diamond and also, a ruby in its, little centerpiece. As it would seem to be engraved with several, etchings, similar to a Norse, almost similar to a Norse, runes, basically. But they're obviously not actual runes, because there's no magic in them. As after giving it to him, he would basically, give it to Sona as he would decide to pay the clerk. And so, after leaving, she would just be, mesmerized by the ring, as she would say this. Thank you, Izuku, but you don't really need to do that. I mean, as he would say this, come on. I mean, we're basically gonna be, husband and wife, so why not give you a ring, he would say. As she would start blushing a little bit, as she would say this. But we're still pretty much young, she would say, as he would say this. But still, I mean, even though this was sort of like an accident, I still don't really care all that much. I mean, as he would start smiling, as he would say this. Maybe because I was a monster, or at least, sort of a part of the supernatural, it's all thanks to this that I was finally able to meet you. Or at least finally able to meet you. And at least give you, sort of a connection, he would say. As she would start, blushing a little bit, as she would say this. Yeah, I guess so, she would say. As she would start smiling a little bit, as Izuku would say this. Well then, maybe we can, stay in the park for now, he would say, as she would say this. I guess that would be nice, she would say. As after saying so, they would decide to basically sit in, a little like park bench. As they would start staring at, at the large like area, as they would see a little bit of people basically, going around having a bit of fun, some kids basically playing around, and some, couples basically, doing their own thing. As he would say this. This feels nice, he would say. As we currently see Sona basically, a bit tired, as she would say this. Yeah, she would say, as she would start leaning on Izuku's shoulder, as he would say this. Hmm, I'm guessing you're really sleepy, he would say. As she would say this. Yeah, she would say. As she would start leaning in a little bit closer into Izuku's arms, as Izuku decides to, wrap his arms around her. As after, wrapping his arms around her, she would say this. You feel nice, Izuku, she would say. As after saying that, he would say this. I guess I love you too, Suna, he would say. As she would say this. I love you too, Izuku, she would say. As after that, we basically, it was basically now like, nighttime now, as Izuku would decide to, tell her that it's time for them to basically leave. After waking up, which she was, completely embarrassed by, feeling her body basically, wrapped up, wrapped in Izuku's, like, arms, as she would basically, tell him to basically get off her. As Izuku would start laughing a little bit because of her, little bit of like a little outburst that she made. And so, after doing so, she would start leaving the area and saying goodbye to Izuku. And also saying thank you for him to basically, saying thank you to him for basically giving him this ring. As she would as she would basically disappear and would basically be gone. As Izuku would say this. Well, guess it's time for me to get going, you would say. As after saying so, he would start stretching his body. As after doing so, he would start leaving the area. As before he can actually leave, he would hear the sound of, some rustling in the bushes as he would say this. I know you're there, he would say. As after saying that, we currently see a person basically there. More specifically, the lady from before. As she would say this. Ah, there you are, my mate, she would say. As he would say this. Mate, he would say. As he would start looking at the little girl. As she would have the, purplish eyes and also the dark hair. As he would say this. I'm sorry, but I'm not really into, girls of your age. Trust me, if I do, I would probably be thrown into jail or something. Or at least thrown into prison, he would say. As she would say this. Don't worry, I'm able to change my form either way, she would say. As after saying so, she would start changing her body. As her body would become a little bit more, his age. As her, her breasts would start becoming a little bit larger, accentuating the little, things that are basically like covering her. Well, oh god. Sorry about that. Anyway, continuing on, as the girl would basically start growing into, into a more, sort of like the same age of, a sort of like similar age to Izuku, which is 16. As her breasts would start becoming a little bit larger, as her height would start growing. She would be, a similar height to Izuku, but except she's, 1 inch shorter than him. As she would say this. So, how about this, she would say. As Izuku would say this. Well, unfortunately, even though you're, kinda cute, I would rather not cheat on Sona, he would say. Besides, we are sort of like meant to be married, he would say. As she would say this. How unfortunate, but unfortunately, I will not let her basically take you. And besides, you are my mate and my claim, she would say. As he would say this. Mind telling me your name exactly before, before I decide to, as he would start, using his Kaukaku to basically engulf his hand into its, armored form, as he would say this. Before I had to destroy you, he would say, as she would say this. I guess it's time for me to reveal myself then, she would say, as she would say this. My name is the... Wait for a second. My name is the Ouroboros Dragon, or the Infinite Dragon God. As after saying that, he would say this. So, your Ouroboros, or otherwise known as Ophis, he would say. As after saying that, we're gonna be ending this episode right off here. So yeah, unfortunately I'm gonna be ending this episode right off here, so yeah. So, I hope you liked the video, comment and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye-bye!